One movie that I think increasingly we're becoming aware should not be made is the Uncharted movie.
Why? That's a great game and should be a good movie, right?
Everyone loves when a game turns into a movie. What has that ever gone awry? And of course, Uncharted is already so cinematic that it seems like an easy transition, and it would be impossible to screw this up, except we are rapidly approaching the 10-year anniversary of them announcing their plans to screw this up. I figured I'd give us kind of a crash course in the history of the Uncharted movie.
Hell yeah.
That never was and still hasn't been and maybe will be someday. But starting out in 2008, Avi Arad, who has been involved with all sorts of adaptations of things, the Spider-Man movies, he's still attached to the Metal Gear Solid movie, which will be real interesting to see how that goes without Kojima's involvement. He announced his plans to work with Sony on making an Uncharted movie. Nothing happened for a year, and in 2009, Richard LeMarchand, who was the lead designer on the Uncharted games, was asked about it, and he said, no comment. That's
Great.
what he said, so you're like, okay, great. The thing that's worth noting about this is that no comment is very to the point. Maybe it's kind of a game designer, not really a PR approach.
Yeah.
But if they ask you about something that involves a lot of money and a thing you're attached to for your day job, no comment is sort of like, as opposed to being like, oh, there's a lot of talented people working on it, and here's a BS answer. Next.
No comment is also like, yeah, I'm angry and I don't want to say anything.
Exactly. So moving on, in 2009, they attached the writers of Sahara, Thomas Dean Donnelly, and Joshua Oppenheimer. I put the picture of Sahara there because you probably haven't heard of these folks. Sahara is a movie about treasure. Next,
It's about people getting electrocuted.
In 2010, David O. Russell, who's gone on to make a lot of really huge, big Oscar fodder movies more recently, was attached to produce. And everyone's like, okay, that's cool. He, I guess, makes good movies. He made Three Kings, and at that point, I think he was working on The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg. In 2010, also, Nathan Fillion was like, hey, everybody, I should play Nathan Drake because we have the same first name and the same color hair. And the internet was like, we loved Firefly. Let's start a Twitter campaign. And he said, rise, you browncoats. And anyway, somebody decided to make David O. Russell the writer and director in addition to producer. So he's really, really attached to this. And then in an interview, somebody was like, hey, so Nathan Fillion from Firefly really wants to be in this. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Who is that man? And that's kind of an awkward, again, like, it's just an intersecting, like, it doesn't seem like anyone's really on the same page here already.
No, at all.
And we're like 2 years into this. Then it gets really weird. Mark Wahlberg, who has worked with David O. Russell on a bunch of things, he was attached to the Fighter, and I guess they were asking him stuff at some junket. He just started kind of going off book, and Mark Wahlberg kind of was like, oh yeah, of course I'm in it. Yeah, David's writing it. I'm in it. Is he playing Drake? No one officially was like, yeah, Mark Wahlberg has been cast as Nathan Drake. But he goes on to be like, yeah, he's doing some crazy stuff. I'm totally going to be, my dad's going to be played by Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci's going to be my uncle. And it's like,
what?
Oh yeah, those key characters who show up in the Uncharted games.
Uncle Pesci in the Uncharted games?
Yeah.
I'm totally into that.
Anyway.
Or are they like both Sullys?
So surprising pretty much no one because I think he was in the running for an Oscar and probably working on
I'm
American
climbing
Hustle.
here.
And David O. Russell dropped out, and then they got Neil Berger to write the movie. You might know him from Divergent, which you probably fell asleep watching on an airplane. And then a year later, David Berger bounced, and they got Marion and Cormac Wibberley, two Tim Burton characters who are most famous for writing National Treasure. Again, it's like they typed in treasure hunty movies. Who do we get? They also wrote Bad Boys 2. Which I like, but I don't want it. It's not on the same par as Uncharted. And then in 2013, IGN was actually talking to Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, and apparently they had been approached several times to make the Uncharted movie or write it, and they were like, no, we're cool, man. That's fine. That's okay. I feel like it was one of those things where some producer was like, hey, you guys are millennials. You like video games? And they were like, yeah, but no, it's cool.
I think Seth Gordon would rather do like a Space Rats animated movie or like Cheese Talkers.
Sausage Party. And then they got Seth Gordon attached to write. If you don't know Seth Gordon, you're obviously not a fan of Horrible Bosses.
1 and 2.
Or Four Christmases. Or his work as the executive producer of hit video game film Pixels.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, so again, if you're wondering why you'd want to watch an Uncharted movie, that's the correct thing you should be wondering. Fast forward, shifting gears from rom-coms and Pixels, they decided to get Mark Bohl attached to write. He wrote The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30 and the campaign for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And then in 2015, Sony pushes the release date back to 2017. So yeah, big surprise. They hadn't started the movie yet. Doesn't sound like they have a script. 2015, Nolan North just chimes in and is like, I don't think fans want a movie.
Yep.
Also, buy my new game. And then in 2016, which is the year it is currently, Joe Carnahan got attached to write it. He was most known for writing Smoke and Aces movies, both three of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Two of them. And the A-Team, which I actually really liked. I think he was attached to some of the G.I. Joe movies. He's all right. He's whatever. And then they got Sean Levy to direct. You might know him from directing Big Fat Liar, Cheaper by the Dozen, #1 only, and the Night at the Museum series, and more recently an episode or two of Stranger Things.
Wow.
One of Kimmy Schmidt. So like, kind of getting messy here. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of a real. I can't say the word where it's a swear word and then it's the word show, but it's kind of there.